My boyfriend fell down a hole in the woods, and something was in there with him. My boyfriend is not named Jacob, and I am not named Gray, but for privacy reasons, those are the names I'll be using. He and I were camping one summer. We were walking out the spot where we planned to pitch the tent. Usually we camped in public areas with lots of other people around. But this was our third summer camping together, and I wanted to be a bit more adventurous. There was supposed to be a dirt trail, but we must have taken a wrong turn because the trail had become fainter and fainter before disappearing altogether. It left us standing, confused, in the mosquito-filled air. Jacob was attempting to use his phone to consult the digital map of the area, but it apparently wasn't loading. After a minute, he said that we should probably just walk back in the direction we came until we found the trail again. We took about 5 steps before I heard his yelp, and then a thud. I looked around, but didn't see him. "Jacob?" I asked. "Down here," came an echoing reply. I walked a few cautious steps toward the noise, but still almost fell into a deep hole. Most of it was covered up by twigs and bent-over plants. There was a gap where Jacob must have fallen through. "Are you all right?" I called down. "Mostly," he shouted back up. "My shoulder and legs hurt, and I don't see a way back out of here." "Actually, I don't see anything. It's really dark." I brushed away the clutter and examined the hole. The rim was worn brick, and I wondered if it was an old well or something. The weirdest part, though, was that I couldn't see anything after a couple inches. I kneeled and stuck my arm down the thing, but I couldn't see my fingertips. Suddenly, I got a terrible feeling. I wanted to get Jacob out of the well as soon as possible. Luckily, I had a strong rope in my backpack. "Do you think you could climb the rope if I threw it down?" Maybe. Could you tie knots in it or something?" I nodded, then realized he probably couldn't see me. "Yeah, just give me a couple minutes." I retrieved the rope from my bag and began to tie knots, spaced about 1.5 feet apart. I had tied 5 knots when I heard Jacob's voice again. "Gray, how close are you to done?" His voice shook a little. "About 1/3 of the way there. Why?" "It's just dark and gross, and I'm a little bit scared." "I'm scared too, but don't worry, I'll get you out." I tried to sound confident and reassuring. I tied more knots. "Gray?" he asked again. "Can you hurry? I think there might be something down here with me." My heartbeat sped up, and I quickened my knot-tying pace as well. Like a frog or a rat? Maybe. I was nearly at what I thought would be a sufficient length. A scrambling sound came from the hole. "Gray, are you done yet?" "There's definitely something down here, and it's not good," Jacob yelled. I finished tying the last knot with shaking hands. "Yes, just hold on for 1 second," I shouted. I ran over to the nearest tree and tied one end of the rope around it. Then I threw the knotted end down the hole. I leaned over the edge and squinted into the darkness. I could see nothing, but heard the sounds of a struggle. "Does it reach?" I yelled. "Yes." The rope swayed and then went taut. I stood at the top of the hole and waited anxiously. I heard more scratching, yelling. The end of the rope swayed. Then I heard a thud and everything went silent for a moment. I had begun to fear the worst when I saw Jacob's face emerge from the darkness. I was so unbearably relieved. Tears sparked down the corners of my eyes and a grin split my face. Jacob stumbled a few feet away from the mouth of the hole. "Pull that rope up now," he demanded. "Oh crap, yeah." I quickly began to withdraw the rope from the hole, but it didn't take as long as I thought it should. I examined the end of the rope. It wasn't normal. Where there should have been a clean end, there was a messy and frayed one. like it had been severed hastily. I turned back to Jacob. He was slightly too short. His eyes were the wrong color. His fingernails were sharp and had bits of string caught under them. He grinned, but it was wrong. Menacing. Jacob would never grin like that. Without warning, the thing lunged forward to reach out as if to push me into the hole. I jumped backward, just barely avoiding its claws. I'm not proud of what I did next. I ran. I don't even know if it was chasing me. I just ran and ran. Eventually, I found the trail again. I tore down it. Tears streamed over my cheeks, into my mouth. I ran to my car. I'm sure I must have alarmed the other people in the area, but I was going too fast for them to ask questions. I drove away and didn't look back. This was a week ago. I've been living in my car ever since, ignoring everyone who tries to ask me where I am. Because of all of the missed calls and unanswered texts, most of them are coming from Jacob. It asks why I ran, if I'm okay, but mostly it asks where I am. I'm posting my story here because I don't think anyone will believe me, but I need advice.